All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Grizzlies, Timberwolves. They say that the series doesn't officially start till a road team gets the upset. Happened game one, and this is really interesting because Memphis has been one of the most complete, sound teams of the entire season, and Minnesota, they got a chip on their shoulder, got through the play-in tournament. They celebrated, they had a good time, they kind of got mocked for it, and they definitely have a chip on their shoulder, man. They're definitely trying to prove to the league, to pretty much the whole state, like the whole country, that like the Minnesota Timberwolves were a legit team. And so we got game 2 tonight. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, series doesn't start till the first road upset, and I'm going to be really interested to see kind of the adjustments by Jenkins. I'm going to be really interested to see the adjustments by Finch. I don't know what we're going to see, but I don't think it's going to be all that different from Minnesota's perspective. I think they're going to heavily run Karl-Anthony Towns again. I think they're going to heavily run Anthony Edwards. These are two young players. I am a little concerned that, so basically, you have Jared Vanderbilt out there, right? And Jared Vanderbilt, not a great shooter. So Karl-Anthony Towns, what they might do to Karl-Anthony Towns in game 2 is double him a lot. And if you've watched the Wolves this season, Cat is not a fan of the double team. I mean, he is not a fan of the double team. In fact, sometimes he even lets his emotions get the better of him, and he kind of throws not like a little fit, but like you can tell he's frustrated. And the issue with having Jared Vanderbilt out there is it makes a double team a lot easier. So I would not be surprised if we saw more minutes from Malik Beasley, who played 30 in game 1, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more minutes from Taurean Prince, who actually only played 12 minutes in game 1, because basically what that means is if you have Cat out there on the court, and instead of a guy like Jared Vanderbilt, who is very useful for him, he's still going to get at least 20 minutes tonight, you can't leave the perimeter open. So it makes double teaming just less likely, or just, not as ideal, definitely. So you got guys like Malik Beasley, who scored 23 in game 1. Taurean Prince, nice 3-and-D player. He can definitely knock down open threes. So wouldn't be surprised if they make that adjustment. But like I said, I do think you're going to run with Cat a lot. I think you're going to run with Ant a lot. It's the playoffs. Play your best players as often as you can. They're young. They can handle it. You've had like 2 days of rest as well, so keep that in mind. Before we get into this video, hit the like button, hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 15K by the end of the playoffs. D'Angelo Russell, highly doubt he goes 2 of 11 in tonight's game. He's kind of like, to me, in my videos I made before this series, he was kind of like my X factor. In the I forget if it was 3 or 4 games that he played against Memphis this season, but he was averaging like 28 and 8. Just a terrible showing in game 1. He had a huge 3 when it mattered. He definitely kept his composure. He stayed cool, and he actually kind of made a big impact in the fourth quarter, as crazy as the stat sheet looks. From Memphis' side, they're going to be really physical. I feel like we didn't really see all that much physicality in game 1, mainly due to foul trouble. You had guys like Dylan Brooks with 5. Triple J picked up 5. He picked up a lot of his fouls really early on. Steven Adams, same thing with him. He only got he had 4 fouls. He only got 24 minutes. Triple J, he only saw 24 minutes. Dylan Brooks, he's going to be on Ant. We already saw a little trash talking in game 1, but the good news is Anthony Edwards is built like that. He's definitely that dude, and he loves the trash talk. He even came out and said one of the reasons he loves playing in Memphis is because you've got all these like 8-year-old kids, like 10-year-old kids telling him to get back onto the bench and sit down. And he's a competitor, man. He definitely doesn't take that personally. It definitely doesn't get under his skin. If anything, he just kind of harnesses trash talk and is like, oh yeah, like watch this. Watch what I'm about to do. So I think Dylan Brooks, he's a phenomenal basketball player. I think we're going to see more Dylan Brooks. I think we're going to see more Desmond Bane, because I do believe Ant's probably going to play at least 40 minutes once again, as I think he should. I'm a little, not like concerned for Karl-Anthony Towns, but I definitely think they're going to body him a lot. And, we'll see. Cat, my only critique with Cat is just like mid-game composure. Sometimes he just kind of loses it. Sometimes he lets his emotions get the better of him. You can just kind of tell he's frustrated. The other team feeds off that. Your own team feeds off that. It's just not good. It's just negative. It's not ideal. And so Steven Adams, Triple J, I don't think they're going to be in as worse foul trouble as they were in game one, which prevented both of them to only playing 24 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Triple J hop on Cat, and then Steven Adams is kind of like the guy there to double. But like I said, if you don't have Jared Vanderbilt out on the court, that makes it a little bit more difficult on Memphis' side because you're going to have a wide open dude on the perimeter. And if it's not Jared Vanderbilt, you don't want to leave him open. I mean, you could make the argument with Jared Vanderbilt, but still, I mean, they'll take it. 24 minutes for Triple J. He only 24 minutes. He had 7 blocks. So him and Steven Adams, they're the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. That's how they generated a lot of their offense in the regular season. So I would imagine they're going to be trying to get a lot more offensive rebounds. Steven Adams only had 1. Triple J had 0. Brandon Clark, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more Brandon Clark as well. He kind of makes their offense a little bit more versatile in the pick and roll game as opposed to like having Steven Adams out there. He's got a nice floater on him. He can shoot the ball 6 of 7 from the field in game one. He dropped 13 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals. He's kind of like their X factor. I would say he's definitely Memphis's X factor, and I would say he's definitely going to play. I think the Grizzlies staff, I think they're going to double down on their game one game plan. I don't think we're going to see all of that many new things. I just don't think that they're going to do it unless the first half isn't going their way and they're 12, 24 minutes away from going down 2-0 and heading to Minnesota. That's when I could see Taylor making a couple of moves, a couple of adjustments like the insertion of Brandon Clark, but I don't think we'll see anything too crazy. The 10-man rotation we saw, I wouldn't be surprised if you see another 10-man. Their bench is just a huge reason to their success. Like in the regular season, their bench was absolutely huge. I mean, what did they go, like 21-2 without Ja Morant on the season? That's just like the most unreal statistic I've ever heard in my life. It's going to be a great series. It's definitely going to be a great series. And if Minnesota gets the win tonight, I mean, an upset's definitely looking a lot more likely. But even so, even if Minnesota loses tonight's game, you're still sitting well. You're still 1-1. You're still healthy, hopefully. And you're going back to Minnesota. And as we've talked about on this channel all season, really, Target Center, Minneapolis, they show up, man. They make it difficult for opposing teams to play there. They hype up their players. Target Center, it's been a playoff atmosphere for like weeks and months, even leading up to the playoffs, as we saw in the play-in tournament game. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I might be live for this game, so stay tuned for that. But I definitely am covering this Wolves-Grizzlies game for the rest of the series. So peace.